Welcome back. This is, of course, the South African Morning. We continue with our election coverage, but I'm also looking forward to this conversation we're about to have, of course, with John Bailey, Managing Editor of eNCA, about all things happening today.
Am I supposed to behave now because the managing editor of the group is
We're all better.
I better behave now. All right, John Bailey, good morning. So there's so much happening in the election. We spoke about this earlier with Toombs, that it's about data, which is so very important. And we're going to talk about some of the data we have for you once the counting comes. And I'll show you what our video wall can do in a moment. But just off air, John, we were talking about a projection model. Just give me that name again, an election projection model. Are you taking notes? I feel like there's going to be an exam at the end.
I'm actually quite impressed that you actually remember that.
I was taking notes.
Yes. So this is I'm quite actually fascinated by this model that we've invested and developed here at the eNCA. And what we've done is that through information that we've gathered from the 2016 election, we will be able to extrapolate information that will allow us to project results as the counting is happening throughout the day and into tomorrow as well. So with this information, what we are able to do is that we've looked at the voter turnout, the history of the different polls, and we're going to focus on the 8 metropoles and also the 205 municipalities. So, of course, for us at eNCA, we focus specifically on the metropoles. And we're going to be able to, as the counting gets underway, we'll be able to give our viewers first-hand information as to what's actually happening, whether there's been any changes over the last few years. And, of course, what will be important is that in the voter turnout, to see what has happened, because that's going to have a deciding factor on which way some of these polling stations will go and the impact that that's going to have on the elections.
Yeah, and John, it's not only the voters, I mean, that watch, eNCA, political parties as well are watching this information to sort of gauge if they actually did a good job in campaigning and they can actually either improve on their margins or perhaps they need to work a lot better, or they have, because I understand at this point they can't campaign anymore.
So, but what I can tell you about this model, right, and we'll have the experts explaining to us in more detail, is that I will advise our viewers to watch what we are able to put together, because we will be able to project what will be the outcome in certain voting districts. So we will be ahead of everybody else in this race to announce what's happening in South Africa.
And I'll tell you why we're able to do this data. Guys, if I can ask you to keep us on the wide shot for a moment, I'm just going to give you a sense of what this is going to look like, what John is talking about. This is obviously not the projection part. This is just, you're talking about these historical numbers, John, aren't you? Let's take you down to historical numbers here. We can go from 2016 down to 2000. If we go into 2016, now those are the kind of numbers, John, that we're looking at. So we could see, what is it, that 53.91 for the ANC, our eNCA Ipsos poll, suggesting it's going to be below 50%. But then this projection model is going to take all of this into account, isn't it?
Yes, it will. So we will, that's why I said, as the counting starts, and with even low margins, we'll be able to project, to say that this is what eNCA is saying in terms of the results in the metros. So, but while our focus is specifically on the 8 metros, we will then also be where there's some interesting dynamics or interesting developments happening in certain of the 205 municipalities. We'll be able to bring that to our viewers as well. And of course, you've touched on the Ipsos research that we've done. That, of course, I mean, we've invested in that research since October. And we've looked at the mood in the country. We've compared the leaders from these different provinces or these in the different municipalities as well. And also, importantly, coalitions. What's going to happen? I mean, that's the one issue to look out for, because all indications are from the research is that there will be coalition governments in many of these municipalities and many of the metros. Certain municipalities, we know that there will probably not be coalitions, but this, as I say, this projection model, together with the Ipsos research that we've done, will be able to give you that credible information.
An election projection model. Say it fast 3 times. I think it's how I'm going to election projection model. John Bailey, thank you very much indeed. Managing Editor of eNCA. We're going to unpack details, data, and the numbers as we get them. You can see the screen behind me. There's a lot more to that too.
Yes, a lot.
I don't want to reveal it all yet till the counting starts. But John Bailey, thank you very much indeed. More details on all the data we have for you, head over to eNCA.com.